Folks, Warriors got. It was a brutal game. We played a better second half, but it was over in the first half. Warriors were destroyed by Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's 10-0. Give them credit. They're the first team to go 10-0 since the Warriors did it back in the mid 2010s, and we won. We didn't win the championship that year actually because we had the best record in the regular season. Lost to Cleveland in the finals, 3-1 upside down. We don't want to talk about it. But what we can talk about are the key lessons today from that Cleveland game. How did we get better for the OKC game? What were the key talking points? Why we lost to Cleveland so bad? So we're going to go over all that right now on Warriors Digest. Randy Silver here. Please subscribe so you don't miss anything Warriors land. You got the box score below for the game. We'll show a little bit of stats and things, but really, what do we need to do to be better to move forward? Please like, subscribe, share Warriors Digest. So Cavaliers beat us 136-117. It really wasn't that close to the game, especially when we talk about what the score was at halftime. I mean, we were basically down close to 40, folks, at one point. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. You know what we like to do right now when we show you my favorite stat. If you're here all the time, you all know what I'm about to show you. The game flow chart, just brutal. At halftime, 83-42. Brutal. At one point, it was 2-2, and then the game was never tied again. Midway through the first, down basically 20. At the first quarter, down 17. As we just said, second quarter got even worse. Third quarter, still around 40. Excuse me, or like 30. And then, you finished a little bit strong, but game was out of hand at that point. Cavs beat us. Cavs beat us. Especially after what we did in Boston. This was a statement game for the Cavs. And it's a statement game for the Warriors to know what we need to do to get better. We're now 7-2 on the season, still in a nice position. But this 3-game stretch of Boston with the win, OKC is next. Obviously, we're just talking about the Cavs. We lost. So I said if we can go 2-1 through this stretch, this is a solid sign. So the question is, how do the Warriors rebound against OKC Sunday night? Some positives: Kuminga off the bench, 7-14 shooting, 3 threes, 21 points. Curry did not really play much the second half. It was out of hand. Coming off the rolled ankle, played a couple games, but if this game's not going to be a W, save him for OKC. He had 12 points. Cleveland scored 13 seconds in the game. As we just saw, it was 2-2, and after that, the game was nowhere close. 4 minutes into the game, Cavs were up 18 points. They shot lights out. Our defense was non-existent. We had missed rotations. We had a lot of turnovers, which we're going to talk about in a second. And it was just something that it looked like the old Warriors. It wasn't the Warriors we saw against Boston. They had a day off, so you can't say a back-to-back or anything like that. The Warriors just didn't show up. They played. 44-second quarter by the Cleveland. 39 points scored in the first quarter. 83-42 lead. Cavs were making their shots, but the Warriors just had a lot of breakdowns on defense. Now, I mentioned turnovers, folks. The number for the Warriors is 15 turnovers. They had 17 turnovers. The majority of those came in the first half, and the Cavs scored 15 points off of those turnovers. Now, the beauty is we forced 20 turnovers from the Cavs and scored 32 points. So we did a good job at our opportunities. But when you other teams shoot 54% from the field, 23s made, we made 13, so they had 21 more points from 3. Free throws, we put them on the line 28 times. They made an extra 14 free throws than we did. 21 points, 14 more, 35 points given up. That's their plus-minus margin. You're not going to win that game. In addition, when you look at points in the paint, again, they have 2 big men, and we're not supposed to be this like crazy big team. But we're getting a lot of points in the paint because we're getting transition and fast points, which is great. And something to build on, but the defense just did not show up. Oops. We came into the game as a top rebounding team, averaging 50 rebounds per game. Didn't happen here. Cavaliers, Kenny Atkinson, I should have mentioned his name earlier, former assistant coach of the Warriors, now coaching here, built this team up to be successful. He took on what they did last year, second-round exit in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, and they're now 10-0. Looney, normally our great offensive rebounder, defensive, really wasn't able to be successful. Cleveland had a 25-13 advantage in the first half on rebounds. A bright spot, we had some players come back from injuries. Podziemski came back from his illness, and Melton came back from his back injury. Both played decent. I wouldn't say anything was crazy good by them, but getting the strength in numbers back and getting back to more of a solid rotation. Now, here's the telling stat, folks. Let me blow this up. Warriors fell behind early, 22, 63, 78 to 38, all before halftime. Brutal. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley in the paint. Very tough to be able to guard those players when all we have is Looney, and you have Draymond, who's a bit injured, better defensively, and then Trayce Jackson-Davis. But they destroyed us. TJD looked like a shell of himself. Looney really couldn't get anything going. As Podziemski said, we didn't make them work at all. We were content just to try to make threes, and they sat in the paint and could do what they wanted to do. Again, just pointing it out, we had 13 turnovers in their 15 in the first half, just too much. And I can also pull up something else. Steve Kerr talking. Here's another quote.
Well, we got to respond. We got to, we need to practice tomorrow. We got to execute better. We had 13 turnovers in the first half. We were completely disorganized, and that's where I feel like we need the most work. We've got to continue to work on our organization and just getting settled so that we can execute and understand how to execute against a team that's playing, at that level defensively.
So that's Steve Kerr. What about Looney? What does he think we can take away from having a better second half?
We just got back to our identity. We know if we play our style of basketball, we play our to our standards and hold up our principles. That we're gonna be tough to beat, and we can play with anybody. But also, if we don't play with that edge, we can be beat pretty easily. So, just knowing that we got to go out there and play with that aggressiveness, that physicality every night, it's a learning.
What do you take?
Learning experience. And again, if we look here, one last video. Where is it? Again, Kenny Atkinson, Steve Kerr reunited. Atkinson left the Warriors assistant coach, becoming the head coach of the Cavs. We look here just at the full box score. Again, it's been down below, but if you want to see something similar, the starting lineup was Green, Jackson, Wiggins, Curry, Payton. So again, Payton started against Houston, or was the Wizards, one of the two, trying to be, I think it was the Wizards, a little bit more defensive presence. Did the same here. So it looks like your starting four is always Curry, Wiggins, Jackson, Green. We've had Payton start. We've had Melton start. We've had Waters start. You've had Kuminga start. So that final position still kind of up for grabs. Who's the best rotation there? You see the Warriors are all minuses. Nothing good there. I guess the plus one was Waters and Santos, but mop-up minutes, 5 minutes. So everyone played, which is good. Got some light. You look at the Cleveland team overall, just absolutely destroyed us again. You look at the team stats. You look at their starters. Every starter had at least 12 points. Brutal. You're not going to win a game when you're giving up that much. And look at their plus-minus margin. So the Warriors played a better team. The reason why Cavs are 10-0, and they haven't lost a game yet. So now it's up to the Warriors to be able to respond against one of the best teams in the West, OKC. And then you have Tuesday, Mavericks coming home, Klay Thompson coming home. So a big stretch right here. We're 1-1 in this stretch. Some games in the NBA you're going to win, like the Celtics, you prove yourself. Some games you throw up a dud. It's how you respond. And it's going to be a matter of how we respond back to back against OKC. Comment your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And of course, subscribe to Warriors Digest. We'll keep you updated on everything daily. Bye, y'all.